Hi guys, the media and political narrative is that the government is losing support to Nigel Farage and Reform UK. The line is that because the public prioritise immigration above everything else, Starmer and his party need to move to the right to thwart the threat from Nigel Farage. However, this is what the talking heads have been pushing. The reality is very much different. Here's some quotes of Sky News explains why Starmer may think that he needs to emulate Farage and his positions on immigration, but the journalist also explains why this is a flawed policy.
Now, yes, local and national elections are different, but it's worth noting that the YouGov national opinion polls paint a pretty similar picture to the local elections. Meanwhile, in 89 out of the 98 constituencies where Reform UK came second, Labour were in first, so Labour MPs are feeling the heat from Farage. And this man knows it. He knows the Reform UK threat is real. And he's chasing their voters. And you can tell this in recent announcements. Slashing aid spending, abandoning green promises, hard talk about immigration, and living on an island of strangers. So all of that seems sensible given the reform threat? Actually not. Let's look at some interesting data. Right, this block here, this is all of the people that voted Labour in last year's general election. Now, thanks to YouGov polling, we know what people in this block now would do with their vote. And it shows Labour has lost more than half of last year's voters. Just 46% say they still vote for Keir Starmer's party. But despite the PM's strategy, they're not actually going to Reform UK in large numbers. Look at this. Just 6% of Labour voters at last year's general election, 6 out of every 100, say they would vote Reform now. That's all. So where have the voters gone? Well, they've lost much more of the vote to liberal and left-wing parties. 12% to the Liberal Democrats, 9% to the Greens. Just pause there. That means the number of Labour voters who've switched to the Lib Dems and Greens, arguably on the left of the political spectrum, is 3 times the number going to Reform on the right. Just 2% go to the Tories, but much more seriously, 22% aren't going to vote or don't know or won't say what they'll do with the vote. Disgruntled ex-Labour voters who aren't happy with what the government is doing.
This is so interesting because we keep hearing this narrative of, well, Reform are taking votes away from Labour, people are not happy with the current government, so they're flocking to Nigel Farage. Well, the polling doesn't match that. The reality doesn't match that. The narrative is that, but as you can see here, it's the opposite. Twice as much support is going to the Liberal Democrats and a lot more support is going to the Greens. Now, you may think, okay, what Labour need to do is they need to pander to the left as opposed to pandering to the right. But the Conservatives tried to do that, well, pander to the right when they were in power and they lost to Farage. They lost a huge amount of support. And Sir John Curtis has mentioned this on a number of occasions. The Conservatives are losing more support to Nigel Farage and Reform than Labour are. And there is the data right in front of you. So Labour are losing support to the Greens and to the Liberal Democrats because they're moving too far to the right. Now, they could try and move back to the centre and provide an alternative, but the big problem for Labour at the moment is that they don't have a vision. Keir Starmer needs to be replaced. He needs to be replaced with somebody who has a vision. He doesn't have a vision, and you can't attach a vision to him. So he will have to be replaced. Somebody with a vision will have to come forward, and that vision will have to be something centre-left, traditional Labour, that will win back support maybe from the Liberal Democrats. But there's a real opportunity here for the Greens. Maybe not to take support away from Labour, it seems to be pretty much solid. If 46% of people still support Labour at this stage, then you're not going to convince those people to leave. But that 22%, there's an opportunity for the Green Party to convince people to vote for them, to say we are an alternative. Because what we're seeing is very little traction in the media for the Green Party. If they have a new leader, they're having a leadership campaign. If they have a new leader, charismatic, somebody who's a bit controversial, I keep saying, a sort of Nigel Farage type figure, somebody who can grab the attention of the media, get their face out there, start pushing their policies, convince people that they are a viable alternative, then that 9% should increase. Now, once again, I don't see it coming from Labour, I see it coming from that other 22%. Or maybe taking support even from the Liberal Democrats. But until Labour have a vision, they're going to be stuck. But there's opportunities for the other parties to increase their vote. And once again, it doesn't make any sense politically for Labour to pander to Farage in the same way as if they try to pander to left-wing parties or the Liberal Democrats, they're going to lose, or they're not going to make the gains that they hope. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.